Greetings, Otaku Faithful. Thank you for joining me again this week. Once again, it's Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, and I'm joined this week by fellow YouTuber Bankai922.
How you doing?
Also joined by fellow YouTuber and Otaku Faithful Animerick.
What's up, everybody?
And it's a pleasure to actually bring the first collaboration video with fellow YouTuber MelinaPendulum.
Hello, everybody.
And we're here to bring you our thoughts, expectations, and predictions for the upcoming third season of the HBO original series Game of Thrones, right here on Otaku Assemble
Weekly.
As always, to bring you the latest in this week's OAW podcast. Now, for those of you all who may be casual fans, casual viewers, because I know for a fact the diehards, we all know Season 3 of Game of Thrones is premiering this Sunday. Everyone's amped up for it, highly anticipated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do pretty much a brief rundown for those of you all who might catch the show every now and then or might not be up to speed with what's going on. Pretty much to let you all know where we're at as of the Season 2 finale. So, first things first. One of the main conflicts throughout Season 2 was, of course, the war that's continuing between the Northerners and the Lannisters. Well, by the end of Season 2, that war's pretty much still going. That hasn't been resolved yet. Now, Lannisters are actually fighting two wars on two different fronts, because while they were fighting Robb Stark and the rest of the Northerners, they were also trying to beat back Stannis Baratheon and his siege of King's Landing. And of course we saw how that ended up with Season 2, Episode 9, Blackwater. So of course the Lannisters got their tails saved by Big Daddy Tywin and his recent alliance with the Tyrells. And so Tywin's back in King's Landing, taking up his position as the King's Hand. And Joffrey's agreed to take Marjorie as his new fiance, if you will. And so, and let me see, what else am I forgetting? Oh, and of course, Tyrion. Tyrion's had pretty much his supporters kind of scattered, lost his hill tribesmen. We're not sure what happened to Bronn in the last episode, but we know from the trailers he's still around. And we know that Tyrion's decided to stay in King's Landing rather than leave after, the attempt on his life during Blackwater. So that's pretty much what all is happening with the Lannisters and with the war going on. We do still know that Stannis is still planning on fighting. He didn't just take Blackwater and be like, okay, I quit. No, he's planning on going back at some point in time. So don't count him out yet. And let's see. So other than that main conflict, we know that Theon, his attempt to hold Winterfell has kind of gone south. Seems like he's been abandoned by his men. And of course, last time we saw Winterfell, it was going up in smoke. And Bran, Rickon, and of course their party, they're still alive. So that's all fine and dandy. Not sure exactly, though, what they're planning to do so far as what their goal is for Season 3. We have heard mention throughout Season 2 that they might head to Castle Black, but not too sure. That is an option, but they are still very much up north. And speaking of the north, Jon Snow is actually being taken to Mance Rayder's compound. He's actually being taken to the Wildling stronghold, playing the whole double agent role that we saw after he agreed to kill Qhorin Halfhand. So, and then of course the Night's Watch, they're still north of the Wall, continuing their campaign up north. And then we saw a freaking army of White Walkers heading towards the opposite direction, heading towards the Wall. What the fuck? Don't know what's going on with that. Hopefully we'll find out in Season 3. Now, let's not forget about Dany. Good old Daenerys. Finally left Qarth, got her dragons back. Found out that whole little scam that was going on with Doxus. Had to be a brother. I know. Brother had to play a fraud. What the hell? Anywho, so now she's leaving Qarth. got some money in her pocket now, got some gold and some trinkets, and now she has enough, or at least we think it's enough, to where she'll be able to hire some ships and finally make it over to Westeros. Now that I've given you all season 2 in pretty much, 5 minutes or so? I wasn't timing myself. Anyway, is there anything else I missed?
I don't think so.
No.
It's pretty much all the big stuff.
Yeah.
Oakley dokley. So, now, with that being said, now that we're pretty much all caught up to speed with season 2, we're just going to go around the table and discuss our pretty much...
There's one thing I can go.
What's up?
I'm sorry. The fact that Rob is not going through with his part of the deal with that Lord.
Oh, yeah.
And he's fallen in love.
Yeah, the deal he made with Lord Frey, he went back on it after he decided to marry, how do you pronounce her name?
Talisa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Her.
Yeah, so we'll get in a bit more detail about that once we start talking about the pretty much what we want to see happen or what we expect to happen throughout season 3 with some of these characters. And just for, organizational purposes, we're actually going to be talking about them based off of region. So this discussion is going to go with us discussing all the characters in the north. Then we're going to move to King's Landing, then the Riverlands, and then finally across the Narrow Sea. And we'll go around table discussing that, going back and forth, and hopefully by the end of this, we'll cover all our grounds with our season 3 expectations. So, first things first, let's talk about the North. And Bankai, I'm going to start off with you, talking about pretty much some of the characters that you're looking forward to seeing, what you think is going to happen, what you hope to see happen, and whatnot with all our characters North.
Well, I'm thinking about Snow. I'm thinking with his situation right now, I think he's going to do something that might change the course of everything up there in the north, because his situation now is, like you said, he was going with those guys up in the north, and something's going on there, and he's going to obviously. There's going to be some ramifications during that situation with what's going on in the north up there. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I made the comment in my my season 3 expectation videos where I said that I think the most appropriate thing that would happen to Jon is that at some point in time his loyalty is going to come into question. Yeah. Because even though he's a double agent, he's still a brother of the Night's Watch. But now he's going into Mance Rayder's compound, and eventually I'm almost positive he's going to get into Mance Rayder's good graces. But the thing is, I think that at some point in time, he's going to actually question his loyalty. What side is he actually fighting for? And I mean, let's be honest. It's not like him wanting to side with Mance Rayder and the rest of the wildlings is completely out of question. It's not. I mean, those are the descendants of the first men, just like he is. For all intent and purpose, those are his cousins. Twice, a third, or 4, 5, 6 times removed, however you want to say it. And I think that Jon is going to find. I think he's going to find a place amongst the wildlings, because there, he is not. He is identified by name based off of his actions, whereas with just like, well, not so much in the Night's Watch, but especially south of the Wall, he was Jon Snow. He was a bastard. And that's the label he always had. I think if it gets to the point where that label no longer exists for him, once he's with the wildlings, then he's going to be more likely to consider staying with them.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So what do you think, Rick?
I totally agree with you, Larry. I think that Jon, with his spending his time with the wildlings, he's going to start feeling very comfortable. And the fact that he is a bastard, it's always bothered him to have that label. And the fact that with the wildlings that doesn't matter, that's really gonna appeal to him. But one thing I kind of think is this White Walker army, because the White Walkers are enemies of everybody. And I think that could be the catalyst of the wildlings and the Night Watch uniting to defend against the White Walker army that's approaching. Whether that will happen in this season, I mean, I don't know. But somewhere down the line, I see that happening. And I think Jon is going to be the bridge to bring the Night's Watch and the Wildlings, and eventually the Wildlings integrated into the Seven Kingdoms down the line. But I think we're going to start seeing the seeds of that planted in this season with Jon and the Wildlings.
Yeah, that does make sense. You know, the idea that he would be like, you know, he would bring about the unification of those two factions. Thing is, though, like you'll recall from the trailer that we saw some of Mance's men actually climbing the wall.
Yeah,
which that's the thing that confuses me. So, because I think that we still don't know enough about what it is that Mance is trying to do. We know that he's, you know, building an army, but I was under the impression that he was building the army against the White Walkers, but I'm not even sure if they even know that the White Walkers have awakened again. I don't even know if they know that. And so my question is, so what? Mance is going to send an army to the wall to do what? To take over Castle Black? Is he actually planning on sending them south? Does he know what's going on south of the wall? Is his forces that big to where they'd actually be able to make a difference? Now, I mean, either way you want to put it, the Southerners are screwed because they're so busy fighting themselves that they don't know that there are two armies coming for them from the north, with the Wildlings and with the White Walkers. So either way it goes, they're freaking screwed.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out which fight Mance is trying to pick. Who is he trying to pick that fight with? Because I think he's wasting his time trying to pick the fight with the Southerners. In all honesty,
I think it's in defense of the White Walkers, and Jon's going to learn that because the Night Watch was kind of scared when they started realizing how organized the Wildlings were getting, and they soon, you know, it's the King beyond the wall preparing to invade them. When in fact it could be because they know that the White Walkers are coming, and so he's getting the Wildlings organized for that reason. And then, you know, can kind of go from there. But I think it's in defense of the White Walkers. I think Mance knows they're coming, and he's trying to prepare his people for that.
But it would also make sense. The most opportunistic thing for Mance to do, like I say, it doesn't make any sense for me that he would be fighting the Southerners. But it does make the most sense that if he was going to attack the wall, that would be the time to do it. You want to know why?
Yeah. This is the perfect time to attack the wall.
Who's going to defend the wall?
Yeah.
Where are they?
Not only that, but the Captain Commander, he said in season 1 they're low on men. They don't have enough men.
Exactly. And since they took a large amount of their party north of the wall already, you know.
And wasn't Tyrion supposed to go to Xerxes and ask for more men for the Night's Watch?
No. What happened was they sent a raven to King's Landing requesting more men, and Cersei just disregarded it.
Oh, okay, yeah. That was all right. I remember that.
Yeah, I was watching that the other night.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
So Melina, what do you think? Okay. Just for the listeners to know, Melina is the only one in the podcast who has actually read the books, so she knows what's going to happen. But I still want to get your thoughts on
what's going to happen.
Yeah. What could we see in the actual series? Because the thing is, even though, you know, there are fans of the books who do watch the series has already proven itself that they do take creative liberties with a lot of things. And there were a lot of liberties taken in season 2, which I'll address later when we get to Rob and Catelyn. I'm going to address that shit.
Yeah. And I'll be with you. But they've made it really clear that this season is probably going to be the most different from the books. So it's exciting in that regard to see what they're going to do. What I think is going to be really interesting to see is them showing Jon's expectations about the Wildlings being vastly subverted. Because there's kind of this mentality for those in the South that the Wildlings are, you know, these wild, you know, savage people. When in reality, like, there are hints that they're actually more organized than they are in the South. Because in the South you have these, you know, kings warring against each other about who should be, you know, the ruler, and they're not actually caring about the people who are being affected by it or the greater difficulties going on in society. And now Jon's going to be put into a war where those kind of issues like how you said about being a bastard and those kind of things don't matter. It doesn't matter who your father was. It matters who you are. And I think it's going to be interesting them showing John being in this entirely new environment and kind of having like, a John Smith Pocahontas moment where he's kind of like, I thought I was in the civilized society, but I'm actually not. And, I'm not the biggest Jon Snow fan, but I do think this is a good chance for him to really mature as a character because like he's being challenged in a way he hasn't been challenged before. He thinks that he's he knows the world because of who he is. He's a Stark kid. He thinks he knows the North and what it means to be a Northerner. And I think this is going to be one of the bigger challenges for him to actually see what it's like to be in the true North.
Oh, yeah. He don't know cold.
No, he don't. He thinks he knows. He doesn't know.
Like, I forget the character's name, but pretty much they're I guess you could call them their drill sergeant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in season 1, the scene when he caught John and Sam in the mess hall, and he told him, "It's like you don't know cold."
Yeah, which was just a great scene because even though John's a bastard, he still has he had a privileged life because he grew up in the family of a noble house. He doesn't really know struggle, like to actually have to work hard for those kind of things because he kind of had it handed to him because of who his dad was. Even though his dad was going to keep him from stuff, he was not just, some guy's bastard. He's the bastard of Ned Stark. And that means something. And so it's like, if that doesn't matter, who is he? He has to find it out for himself.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. So since I do want to make this comment, though. I'm a bit disappointed that they actually split up John and Ghost. Have you guys noticed that?
Yeah, it's mostly because of budget. They can't afford to have that and dragons.
Well, okay. Well, answer me this then. In the books, is Ghost supposed to be with John this whole time?
Ghost, as I recall, he's with them. Like the direwolves play a bigger role in the books because they don't have to worry about them not about money, but they're in it. So all the scenes where Ghost isn't there, it's because they can't afford to have Ghost there.
Ah, it sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Ghost was the baddest looking direwolf too.
Because he's white, and so he can just blend in and just attack you from in the snow. It would be like the perfect sneak attack.
I know, right? And I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have been able to get the jump on John the way they did if Ghost was with him.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no. That's would have ate them all.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's about the size of 2 men.
Mm-hmm. And growing.
And growing. They're not full grown yet?
They're still pups because they were, it's only, the timeline is weird, but it's not been that long from when they were pups to, to now. Maybe, a year and a couple months old. They're still growing. They got a ways to go.
Wow.
Rob's Daru is huge.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Because Grey One's freaking huge. Grey One's big enough to ride on.
Yeah.
But since we're talking about direwolves, though, I want to hear you guys' thoughts on Bran and Rickon. What do you think the Stark pups are going to do this season? Because I mean, they've kind of had it rough in season 2. Now, granted, it's not like they were the most proactive characters. They didn't have storylines in which they had a set goal or something had to go out and be sought, and not in the same way with Arya and Robb, but they were these 2 little kids were pretty much responsible for holding down the fort at home, for keeping Winterfell by themselves. So, and that didn't work, because Theon just came in there with one ship full of men, and took the whole damn thing over. And then we saw at the end of the season that they kind of I'm assuming they laid waste to Winterfell because Bran and Rickon were forced to leave. Mm-hmm. So what do you guys think is going to happen to the Stark pups?
Well, didn't they say that they were going to whatchamacallit? The castle, you said before?
Castle Black, to the wall.
Castle Black. Now,
I think they mentioned it in the series, but I think that was before they went back to Winterfell. Because remember, they left Winterfell when Theon was looking for them, and then they went and then they snuck back in.
Oh,
I think when they mentioned about going to the wall, I think that was then. But then I'm also thinking that if you go back to the scene where Maester Lewin were talking to him, I think he was the one who suggested that.
I think they're still, as far as I recall, they're still going off to the wall because they want to be with John. They don't know he's gone yet, so they think that they'll be safe there. Because if they go towards Robb, they could get like involved in battle. So I think they're going to the wall.
Yeah, and I don't know like what their storyline is gonna be, but I will say I think if anything, we're gonna see Bran explore these mysterious abilities he's developing a little bit more. And hopefully we'll learn a lot more about what they actually are in detail. Maybe that'll be the storyline for Bran this season. It's an not so much experimenting, but discovering his abilities a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Bran is one of the few characters on the show right now that the audience have been led to believe he has some type of like magical abilities.
Yeah.
Because so far, like Melisandre, she's just a full blown witch. You know, we know that about her. But like in regards to characters that may or may not that could later on down the line develop some type of magical abilities, Bran's one of the few.
Daenerys kind of has magic in a sense too.
Who?
She's immune to fire and can talk to her dragons.
Oh yeah, Dany's the other one.
Yeah.
That we're starting to see that with.
Yeah. That's because she's a Targaryen, though. I don't think she actually has like magic powers, but she's got like good genes, basically.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense. I mean, it's the same way how like the Starks can freaking tame direwolves.
But I don't know. Like, I want to see more of Rick and just going slowly more feral. Like, that's I'm going to look forward to seeing that in the show because it's like you slowly see hints of it, but that kid is going to be so fucked up by the time this whole thing is over, whenever it ends. I don't know what's going to happen to him.
Yeah, and that's the confusing thing. Like, I don't know what Rickon's deal is. Is it just like are we seeing like just him shut down due to neglect?
Well, it's a couple of things that I don't want to get into because it goes into spoilerish territory. But he's just like, without having any sort of parental guardian, he's getting more attached to Shaggy Dog, and he's becoming more like his direwolf than like a person. So he's just getting very feral.
I see what you're saying. So,
and is it like 4 or 5? Rickon's very young.
Yeah, he's he's really young. He's supposed to be like 4 or 5 years old.
I see what you're saying. So you're saying like where Rickon is kind of like the like a Tarzan thing kind of going on. You know, he's practically being raised by the direwolf.
Pretty much, his connection with the direwolf is making him like that, and so like because like Bran can't take care of him, Bran's a kid himself, so it's just like it's gonna be hard for Rickon, and I just can't wait to see that because you don't really see that a lot, like a little Mowgli.
Not Mowgli. But okay, this is one character I'm just fucking confused about. Theon. The fuck happened to Theon?
Oh God.
Like we just don't know. And I'm not like I remember winteriscoming.net. They do this thing called curtain call where when a character gets killed off, they have like they do like a little featurette on that character. So they did one for Theon at the end of season 2. But the thing is like we didn't see a body. And until I see a body, I'm not convinced that he's dead.
I will say this about Theon. Whatever happens to him, he deserves every bit of punishment he gets. I don't think they're going to kill him. But I think that he's going to get the Jaime Lannister treatment in a sense. He's going to be a prize. Like, this is what happens when you cross us over. This is what happens when you fuck over Robb Stark.
But we don't know if he's in any of the Northerners' custody. You see what I'm saying? Because all we saw was that his men knocked him out and pretty much just left Winterfell. We don't know if they took him back home.
Robb's allies on their way to take Winterfell, though? We never saw
it, though.
Yeah, we never saw it. That's why his men, like, Theon was like, we can hold this. Come on, he's trying to rally the troops. knowing that they were going to be vastly outnumbered, and they were like, screw this, we're out of here.
Right, and that's the thing. So, they could have very well just handed him over to them, or they could have knocked his ass out and took him back home.
And I remember Rob, too, if that's what happened, Rob said, do not bring him to me alive. I want to be the one to deal with him.
And there are also people in the North, like other houses, that might just want to get a piece of him anyway.
Mm.
I just don't know what's going on. I thought Theon was dead, but it's like I said, until I see a body, I'm not convinced.
I'm a zip it.
Yeah. but the thing is though, we did see in one of the trailers that they showed Yara, his sister.
Yeah.
We saw her for a glimpse in one of the trailers. So this brings my next question. What role are the Greyjoys supposed to play in this war?
And you see, that's the weird thing, because, like, remember how I talked about a while back in one of my videos how to expand certain characters even though they're not really supposed to be there? Mm-hmm. I feel like they're going to do that with the Greyjoys. Like, the Greyjoys aren't supposed to really play a role in this part of the series, but because the actors are there, they're probably going to try and, like, force them into something.
Huh.
Well, I would just like to see them do something, because it's like, because in season 2 we saw that, Balin was like, okay, yeah, we can take the North. And then he goes and he sends Yara to go, take over a couple of these places. But then when Theon goes like, fuck this, I'm going for the king. He goes and takes Winterfell, and they're like, abandon Winterfell. So I'm like, what the fuck are they doing?
Well, they didn't want to have Winterfell because they can't hold it. Like, they just wanted to, like, get, like, the areas on the coast, because they can't bring their ships into Winterfell. So when they were, like, abandoned, like, because we can't keep this shit, you dumbass, we don't have the ships for it, we need to go. But I'm pretty sure they weren't going to try to give up what they had otherwise. It was just that part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really don't know the Greyjoys' angle. I mean, obviously, and I forget the head of the Greyjoy house. I forget his name. Balin?
Balin.
I mean, like anyone else, he probably have an eye on the Iron Throne like everyone else, but he's just not. He's probably He's probably the one that has no really pull to where he would have to align himself with someone like Stannis to even have a chance at the Iron Throne.
That's true.
He needs to get some kind of inside track with someone. Mm. But you can't trust a Greyjoy either, so who would want to make an alliance with the Greyjoys?
That's a good point. Mm. So, actually, though, since you brought up Stannis, though, seeing as how, like... Wait, what?
No, I just love Stannis, so... I'm
really?
excited.
I do not like... And then maybe it's the way he's portrayed the show.
Stannis is a jackass.
I don't care what y'all say. I like Stannis.
No. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. Stannis is a jackass.
That was a bitch move what he did to his brother.
No. That's a fact. Stannis is a jackass. Stannis would have stayed at Blackwater and saw every one of his men die if he could have. They had to pull that son of a bitch off that wall.
Yeah.
He just, I mean, even after what was it, like half his fleet got decimated with that wildfire? Like, he just was like, fuck it, we gonna do it anyway. It's like, dude, are you serious?
The thing about Stannis is that, like, I'm not saying that he's perfect, because he is fucked up, but he thought that he was going to win because Melisandre said that he was going to win at Blackwater. The whole reason he went in there half-cocked and thinking that he was going to be able to do this is because she's been telling him the entire time, you're the chosen one, you can do it. So he believed that he could have won if he stayed there long enough. It's not like people, haven't won with less troops than the other team. So he thought that he could have made it. It's not until after the fact where he goes to her at, like, the end of season 2 and, like, what the fuck just happened? You told me it was going to be okay.
I don't know. See, that was the funny thing. Like, when season 2 started, like, I was so amped up for Stannis. I was like, yeah, man, this dude's gonna be awesome. And then it's like Melisandre's whispering in his ear, and he's doing whatever she tells him. He fucking he fucking had her assassinate Renly, which I thought, I'm sorry, Stannis lost so much respect for me after that. It's like, no, you were talking all that good shit just a second ago. You should have met Renly in the field and just whooped his ass. See, that's how I thought Renly was going to get killed. I thought Renly was just going to lose to Stannis, and Stannis was just going to kill him.
Well, not about the Renly thing, because that's a different issue, but like about him being like manipulated by Melisandre. It makes sense to me because no one is rooting for him to be on the Iron Throne except like this one chick who's like, you're going to be the chosen one. No one else wants him to be king because he's not nice, and you know, so he has no one in his corner who wants to be by his side. Renly's just lucky that he's like dating what's his face, Loras, and so he gets all the Tyrell backing, and they're like the second most powerful house in Westeros.
Well, I just, man,
Hello?
I'm just waiting for Stannis to kick the bucket. I'm just waiting for that to happen. It's gonna happen, and that woman's gonna be responsible for it. I know it. I called it the first time they introduced her. I was like, Stannis is gonna get killed, and she's gonna be the reason why. She's gonna talk him into a fight. She knows he can't win. That brings me to my next question. What is her angle? Why? Because
she believes.
So she's just as gullible as he is?
No, she believes that he is whatever the fuck the god's name is, reborn. She legitimately believes in him.
Ugh. Talk about the blind leading the blind.
Seriously. I think Stannis, though, for the most part of this season, is going to be on the recovery end. He's going to try to reconsolidate his forces to make another attempt at King's Landing. And then one thing we could possibly see is kind of this tension between Stannis' right-hand man, Davos, I think is how you pronounce it? Davos. And because Davos does not trust Melisandre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was saying that he was
evil. And so we could see tension between those two characters.
We don't even know if Davos is still alive.
Yeah.
Because I ran across a list of the cast members. Davos wasn't on there.
Really?
Can you link that in a little, Larry?
Yeah, I'll go grab it. But yeah, Davos wasn't on that list. But then again, I think that's an incomplete list because Yara, her actress wasn't on the list either, and we know she's in season 3.
Yeah, they don't have everybody on the casting sheets.
But and here's my thing. I don't like the whole idea about Stannis. He just has to regroup his forces and this and the other. Well, what forces does he have left? We already knew that he had less people than Renly, right? And the majority of Renly forces were of House Tyrell, right? So,
well, no, because he had more than that. Because when he was going to go to King's Landing, he had more than they did. So, besides the Tyrell forces, he had a lot of people.
Right, and all of them they went and flocked over to Stannis, right? But I mean, Stannis' people got decimated at Blackwater. How many forces does he have left?
He's going to have to try to find some other alliances to form with some. I mean, I don't know who else there is out there, but he's going to have to try to find a new alliance. Which
was a good, the reason why I jumped to Stannis at this point in time in the discussion was because we just got done talking about the Greyjoys. To me, it always made more sense for Stannis to fucking form an alliance with the Greyjoys. Why? Because what did they kept saying about King's Landing? It's like, you can't take it without ships. And who has one of the best navies in Westeros?
The Greyjoys.
Exactly. So it just made sense. But of course, that'll never fucking happen. The 7 Hells will freeze over before that happens. Unfortunately.
You'd never ally with the Greyjoys.
Well, shit, they've never aligned with him.
Yeah, well, they don't care about, at least if I recall, they don't care about King's Landing. They just want to rule in their little island bullshit, so.
Yeah,
Let them. I don't care about them. Yeah.
But since we're talking about King's Landing, let's go ahead and start talking about the characters there. Cause I gotta say, I think King's Landing is probably the most confusing fucking setting for me right now. Just with everybody that's there right now. Seriously, I don't know what the fuck's going on in that place. So, Bankai, what do you think?
Listen, no offense, but someone needs to kill Joffrey. Like, and it needs to happen soon because this guy is such a fucking bastard.
That goes without saying.
That goes without saying. But I mean, I would like to see Tywin.
Or
yeah.
Tyrion?
The short guy.
Tyrion.
Yeah, I get the names confused. I like to see him do more because, I mean, that war at Blackwater, he was, I feel bad for him because he was trying his best in that war, and he realized that Joffrey was a piece of shit. Like, he couldn't do anything during that war. And I feel like maybe in this season he'll do something to change the outcome of the situation there.
Well, I mean, they're winning the war right now.
Yeah, that's true. But I just feel like...
Or correction. Now that they've aligned themselves with House Tyrell, they will start winning the war.
They're in a much better position now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because it's like I said in my season 2 reviews. The second I saw Tywin show up with Loras next to him, I was like, game over. Done. Time to go home. Pack it up. It's over. Nice try. It's that wrap. Curtains. That's it. So, but that's one of the things that confuses me about pretty much the cast in King's Landing right now. Like, what is Tyrion supposed to do now?
I think Tyrion's in deep shit. I think Tyrion to me, like, all right, Tyrion was he was the star of season 2, in my opinion. He played his hand so perfectly in season 2 because he had the power to back it up. Now he doesn't. And I think I don't think his dad has, his dad, obviously he's not in his dad's favor all that much because his dad looks down on him because he is a dwarf. Mm-hmm. But he's in hot shit with Cersei and Joffrey. And now that he doesn't have the power to back himself up, he's going to be a target for Cersei and Joffrey. And Cersei, I think, wants Joffrey dead for setting his daughter up. She has so much hatred towards Tyrion, and Joffrey has been humiliated countless times by Tyrion that they're going to be gunning for him. And he's in a bad position right now. He needs to leave King's Landing. Mm. And then, you have Shay, too. And if Cersei finds out that Shay is someone that Tyrion loves, Shay's done.
Hmm. Yeah, good point.
Mm-hmm. But Tywin could be Tyrion's saving grace. Like, if anyone gets Tyrion to stay in King's Landing, it's going to be Tywin.
Well, Tyrion said he wanted to stay. Like, because when Shay was trying to convince him to leave at the end of season 2, he was like, no. He's like, because I like playing this game, and I'm good at it. So he wants to stay, but my whole question is, what is his role supposed to be? And I don't know, because my thing is, it made sense the way it was before. Tywin was fighting the war, so he sent Tyrion to be the hand for him, right? But now that he's back in King's Landing, okay, well, who the fuck is going to be on the battlefield now? Who does Tywin trust enough? We've already seen Tywin pretty much like chew his commanders out, with all the scenes at Harrenhal. I mean, hell, he fucking sent his who was that? His cousin, I think it was.
Yeah,
he's like, my lord, I think we need to rest. It's like, you need to rest. Get the hell up off my table. Get out. Go home. I don't want to see your face no more. And it's like, and if you weren't a Lannister, it's like it'd be the end of you. Go home. Get out my face.
Mm-hmm.
And it is shown that Tywin does trust Tyrion. He may not favor Tyrion, but he does trust him, or he wouldn't have made him King's hand in his place. So that is a possibility. Another possibility for Tyrion is he could be put on the small council. There is an open spot with Renly gone. Even though we didn't really see the small council all that much at all, actually, in season 2, we saw the different members of it, but we didn't actually see them come together. I don't think we did.
Well, I mean, there isn't. Technically, there's not a spot open. Renly's spot on the council was taken up by Cersei last season.
Well,
She put herself.
Well, no, I take that back because she was only there when Joffrey wasn't there.
Well, there is going to be a spot open because isn't Peter, like, now he's Lord of Harrenhal, so that's Master of Coin. That's open.
Did Littlefinger be making a Harrenhal?
You saying he's going to leave?
Well, like, because, like, Littlefinger's made Lord of Harrenhal, so why would he stay? Because now he has this new place to be. Like, I think, like, I don't know, like, I think, like, because there's more positions open now. Because I know Pycelle isn't going to be in the small council anymore because of what happened before. I don't think that Littlefinger would stay. And then Cersei doesn't do shit, so, like, that's always an open position. She just drinks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mentioned in my expectations video that I don't know. I just don't see what Tyrion would do. I don't see what role he would fulfill. I mean, unless they did a swap, like unless Tywin sent Tyrion to go, in the field, or unless Tywin decided, like, you know what, man, I ain't gonna fuck around with y'all up in here no more. I'm going back into the field. Y'all boring me. Peace. But then again, I'm very less likely to think that would happen, just because Tywin has seen how Joffrey's fucked up, and so he's not going to let that keep happening. And let's face it, say what you will about Joffrey, say what you will about his threats to Cersei. I mean, hell, let's be real. Joffrey couldn't even stand up to Tyrion half of the time. You really think he's going to raise a hand to Tywin?
That's what I was just about to think. I was thinking that, like, if anyone can control Joffrey, it is Tywin. And I think Tywin will go at it in a more cunning way instead of outright, opposing Joffrey. He'll kind of maybe be like, try to have like that, almost like a fatherly kind of like passively aggressive kind of way, like kind of make Joffrey think that he's doing what he wants to do, but he's actually doing what Tywin wants to do. Because Tywin is a very intelligent individual.
Yeah, but he's also no nonsense, which is the reason why I like him. In that regard, Tywin and Tyrion are the two that act the most unlike all the other Lannisters, because Tywin does not scheme. Have you noticed that? He does plot. He comes up with plans, but he doesn't scheme. He's not conniving like Cersei and Jaime are.
Like a good Lannister family.
Tywin's very no nonsense. Tywin's like, no, you're going to do this, this, and this because I said so. And if you don't, this, and this will happen to you. Period.
He doesn't have to scheme because, like...
I'm rich, bitch.
He doesn't have to scheme. Tyrion has to because he's a dwarf. Cersei has to because she really can't do shit because she's just mother of the king. But he has all the power now, Tywin.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, too. Because Jaime does scheme, which don't make no fucking sense to me. Because it's like, I'm Jaime fucking Lannister. I kick anybody's ass. What do I have to scheme for?
Jaime just talks a lot of shit and, like, can back it up.
Yeah.
Jaime is like the Floyd Mayweather of Game of Thrones. I can't stand his ass because he talks so much shit and he can back it up.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and he's daddy's boy.
Yeah, that is true too. But I mean, that's another thing. What do you guys think? I don't. What are they gonna do with Jaime throughout this season? Because I don't think Jaime's gonna like make it to King's Landing anytime soon. And so I don't see like what they could do. Like, what could him and Brienne be doing that's gonna be so damn interesting to where we got to keep coming back to him every episode?
The best stuff.
I mean,
are you serious? Is there like really gonna something's really gonna happen with that?
All right, I will say this: when I first read the books, I couldn't stand Jaime, and I hated him. By the time this part in the book done was over, he was one of my favorite characters.
I don't see how that's possible.
I'll believe it at that. At least that's how it was in the books. I don't know how they might change stuff in this, but in this part of the series, you find out so much stuff about him that's interesting. And I feel like they have the potential to do something really good with his character in the show.
I've been mildly spoiled about Jamie, and I'm not going to say it, but I see what Melina's saying. And because we are going to find something out very interesting. But yeah.
I'm not holding my breath on that. I mean, no, Jamie's so unlikable to me that I don't see
him. I despised him. Like, he was up there with Theon Greyjoy for the longest time on characters. I was like, I can't wait for him to die. But now I could never think that anymore.
Melina, what you're talking about, though, I think that's going to happen next season. Because remember, this book is split into 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen next season. I think by the end of probably episode 8 or 9 is when Jaime will finally get to King's Landing, if he does. Yeah. By the end of the season.
Yes, and that's what I was thinking. That like he won't make it back home until towards the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. And with the split, I'm interested to see like how they're gonna do stuff. Like, it makes me nervous about certain characters, but I'm like, well, maybe this way they can do more of what was already there. But I'm also afraid they're gonna like stretch shit out to where it's like, okay, let's move this along.
Yeah.
But I mean, but yeah, that's why I said like King's Landing is just so fucking confusing because there's so many characters. Don't know what all they gonna be fucking doing. I ain't gonna lie. If what you were saying about Littlefinger's right, I wouldn't mind seeing less of that asshole. I don't like him.
See, that's another one. Like he's there all the time for no reason.
Littlefinger, Littlefinger intrigues me for some reason. Like, because I don't know, he's just like he's like a full size Tyrion in the sense that he just so conniving, and it's like, what is his end game? Like, does he want the Iron Throne? Like, what is his end game? Why is he the way he is?
Nah, I know what his end game is. He wants to get in Kat's pants.
But then you saw that scene with Sansa makes me think that there's going to be interaction between those two a lot more going forward.
Yeah, you want to know why?
Because she looks like Catherine. She's Catherine's daughter.
Mm-hmm. And he wants to get in her pants. Cat's pants.
All the pants.
So that fuck it.
Yeah.
The hell.
I don't. His character in the show is just agitating. He's always there. I'm just like, just go away. I know you paid for this guy because he was on the wire, but you need to let him go. Let him go do something else.
But you know what though? That's the thing. I mean, Rick, since you mentioned Sansa, let's just go ahead and get this out of the way. What the fuck is she supposed to be doing?
I have no idea what her role is going to be. I really don't. Because here's the thing. With Joffrey, I don't know.
Here's the thing. I mentioned this in my expectations video. Sansa is the only Stark character that did not have a set objective. Robb had an objective. Arya had an objective. Kat had an objective. Even Bran and Rickon had an objective. What the fuck did Sansa do? Other than just being there.
Survive her situation?
Being there.
Yeah, that's it. So, just be... No, when you say survive a situation, you know what that sounds like to me? You're just being there.
Yeah.
See, I was the same thing about season 2. It's just like, she did have an objective, but they took it away in the show narrative. So, I think with what they've been hinting at, they're going to give her back what was originally going to be her objective in season 2, but they just waited till now to do it for some reason.
And see, the thing about Sansa,
how does that?
I think everything that Larry, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think back to everything that happened, all the drama that happened when you got all that hate about Sansa and you didn't like her and stuff. And it's like, all right, yeah, she's in a bad situation, and sure, you can feel sorry for her, but she did that shit to herself. She put herself in that situation. So that's why, the scene where she was being humiliated from the court, that was probably the only scene was like, damn, that's fucked up. I mean, that's really fucked up that he's doing that to her. But at the same time, she had the opportunity. Littlefinger said, I'll take you away, from King's Landing. She's like, no, I'll stay. The Hound said, I'll take you away. She's like, no, I want to stay.
Well,
she's choosing to stay. And I thought it would have been so much of a better story and giving Sansa something to do if she started warming up to the Hound and maybe like, all right, will you kill Joffrey now? That would have been
books.
Yes. Everything you just said, sorry, I just blurred that out, but it just kind of like, all that stuff with her relationship and the Sound trying to get, that's all in the book in season 2.
Wow.
Well, see,
it all is in there. Like her trying to get out and her getting a relationship with them, that's all in the second is in what would be season 2. But for some reason they're like, we're just gonna fuck that shit up and not do it at all.
So wait a minute. So you're telling me that she was trying to leave? And
she see, because I don't know how much they're gonna do about it in this season, but she was in talking with someone about a plan about getting out of King's Landing.
Yeah, they decided to just leave that out.
Yeah.
And no, but that's the most infuriating thing I have about this fucking character. Okay, now first and foremost, now everybody knows I'm a huge fucking Stark fan. I rep House Stark,
Except her.
but she is the fucking weak link in the chain. She is just And my thing is this: to address what you were saying, Rick, about like when I did my Sansa rant last year. Remember, I never said that Sansa was the one who put herself in that position, but she sure as shit was not trying to find a way out of it. That was what my thing was. It's like she is a victim of circumstances, but she's not doing anything about it. Nothing. We never see a scene with her, like Melina just mentioned. We never saw a scene with her planning with somebody else about, okay, we're going to escape and this is how we're going to do it. Nor did we ever get a scene where she's having a conversation or even some type of internal dialogue where she's like, you know what? I'm just going to ride this thing out until I marry Joffrey. Why? Because once I'm the queen, I can do what the fuck I want. We never even got that from her. We got nothing from her.
The one Lannister the one person in power that was nice to her, Tyrion, she was a bitch to him.
Well,
and that's...
She wasn't a bitch to Tyrion,
Sorry,
but she
ahead.
was very reserved to him. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She didn't like Tyrion was offering.
That's the whole...
Tyrion was offering help, but she never accepted it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's better worded.
Well, she doesn't know she can trust him for one, because he's still like an enemy. But like everything you're saying, Larry, about like her, that's all cut out, because there's no way. Like, that's why when she was gonna be like when they brought in Shay to be her man, I thought, oh, so you're gonna actually have her verbalize the stuff that goes on in her head. But they don't do that with her character at all in the show. They just let stuff happen to her. Anything that had her in that last season, that last book, thinking about stuff, talking about doing stuff and what she's going to do and what her ideas were, all gone. None of it.
Mm.
And I think that's like just it pisses me off, because I do like her, and I'm just like, so that's why when I hear stuff, I'm like, I totally get why you think this, but I just wish that's not how it was supposed to be. Oh, sorry, I didn't know I was cutting it out.
Yeah,
Can you hear me better now? Hello.
I mean, yeah, you're coming in consistent, but the quality is like way down. Got it?
Let me see if it's fucking internet. Hello?
Oh, yeah.
God damn it.
Oh, Skype. You're never without bugs. But that's just the thing that confuses me. It's like if in fact they did have some interesting stuff going on with that character, why would you cut that out? What could be? I don't know what could be the fucking point of that. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes no sense to me. I don't know what that could be about.
Yeah, I don't understand why they went that route either.
Okay. Melina dropped out, but she should be back shortly.
Okay.
But yeah, I just don't like. I'm looking at it from the perspective of how you're adapting the work. You know, how you're adapting the books into, you know, being able to create this overarching story that's going on with your show. And so that's what I'm saying. My question is, like, why would you leave that type of stuff out? Are they like Melina said earlier? Are they just saving it? I don't know. I don't know what. Why would you save that though? Is my thing.
One thing that Kwanzaa could possibly do, and this could only be for a couple episodes, or it could be an undertone throughout the season. It's kind of giving. All right, help me, Larry. What's Joffrey's betrothed name? What's the Tully?
Wait, Joffrey's who?
Oh, he's gonna marry.
Who he's gonna marry? Oh, Marjorie.
Marjorie. I'm sorry.
Loris's sister.
Yeah, she could possibly give her the download on what Joffrey really is like. But that's not. I don't think that's enough to justify her presence throughout the season either, though.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. It's like now, you know, because the only thing that really kept Sansa in
So sorry.
Nah, it's cool. But that's what I'm saying. The only thing that really kept Sansa around was the fact that she was supposed to marry Joffrey. Now that's gone. So what is your purpose now? Also, well, never mind. I just answered my own question. I was about to ask, like, why would they even want her there? But yeah, they're still in a freaking war.
Yeah.
And they need to keep her as a bargaining chip.
Yeah, that's true. Like a hostage.
Which Catelyn fucked that up royally. Oh yeah. So I guess we might as well jump into that group. That Catelyn and Robb. Holy fucking hell.
That was such a that adaptation of that was just a clusterfuck. It was so fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
I do not like Catherine. She is a shit starter. She more or less started this war.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She single-handedly started this war.
Well,
her and France more or less started the war.
Wait, what you were saying, Melina?
No, I disagree, but go ahead.
No, wait, how can you disagree that Cat was the one who... Okay, all right.
I can't tell you why.
Let's get technical.
Yeah.
Let's get technical. To be technical, Jaime started the war.
Yeah.
To be technical.
To be technical, Bran being pushed out the window started the war.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Jaime was the one who threw Bran from the window. So that's technically what started the war.
Touche.
Technical. Well, no. If we want to really get technical, whoever killed Jon Arryn was the one who started the war.
That's true.
To be technical. Because if Jon Arryn wouldn't have died, Robert wouldn't have brought his ass to Winterfell, and Rob wouldn't have brought his ass to Winterfell, then Jaime wouldn't have pushed Bran from that window, and y'all people know where this story goes from there.
Yeah, say it like that, you look at it like that, then you're absolutely right.
Technically, that's what started it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
But Catelyn sure as shit didn't help anything.
No.
She sure as shit didn't help matters. And she sure as shit didn't help matters, especially when she let Jaime go. Now, this is the thing that pissed me off about the show. Because when that shit happened, it already didn't make sense. Strictly. And I'm talking about strictly from a viewer standpoint in the show. That already didn't make sense. Because she just turned around and did what she herself said was not going to work in the fucking season 2 premiere. She told Rob that they were never going to trade that they never trade, Jaime for Sansa. They never do it. They would never be able to get that. You see what I'm saying? She told that to Rob, and then she turns around and she doesn't even make a trade. She just lets him go. No ravens were sent. No negotiations were made. No setup, no meeting, no sit down, no nothing. She just lets him go in the hopes that once she let go Jamie, they'll give Sansa back. With no fucking good reason. And it wasn't until I found out from one of my fans, and this was so funny. A couple of months ago, I was walking in the English department building here at school, and a guy stopped me in the hall, and he recognized me, and I was like, and he was like, yeah, man, your Game of Thrones reviews, I watch it all the time and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. And then we started talking, and he told me about the change that they made in the book. Mm-hmm. What happens in the book is that Catelyn does that because by that point in time, she thinks that Bran and Rickon are dead because of what Theon did in Winterfell. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Her and Robb think that Bran and Rickon are dead. Mm-hmm. And so she's like, oh my God, I just lost my youngest two. Fuck it. Let me go ahead and I lost my husband, and now I just lost my youngest two boys. Let me salvage what little family I have left. Mm-hmm. She goes into motherly protective mode.
Yeah.
That makes perfect. And also because she's fucking traumatized. She's overly dramatic and overly fucking emotional, and she's not thinking about what this can do to their war effort now. She's not thinking about that. She wants her kids, and she wants to go home. Which, fuck, she don't even have a home to go to now. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Because fucking...
She has a nerve to rate Robb about falling in love with that girl.
Say what?
I said but with that said, she has the nerve to talk down to Robb about falling in love with that girl.
But she wasn't at fault for that. She wasn't at fault for that. Robb made an agreement. And that's totally different too. So what? Wait, Melina, what you say?
Well, I'm just saying, and that's different too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They changed that too, which I'll get to that in a minute. But that's the thing though. Like, even though she talked down to Robb about that, though, she wasn't at fault for that. Robb broke his motherfucking broke the agreement. Mm-hmm. He agreed to marry Lord Frey's daughter if they gave him the fucking bridge. Frey kept up his end of the bargain. Robb didn't. So she's not at fault for that. And please believe, if Ned was still around, he'd have told Robb the same fucking thing. Mm-hmm. He'd have told him the same damn thing. But yeah, so that change that they did with Catelyn's motivation for doing what she did was just fucking stupid. It made no sense. Why would they need to change that? We already have it in the series. It's not like it's something that's exclusively in the book. They've already set it up in the series.
Personally, I think it's to make Robb look better.
No, well...
Because it's like... Because now, it's... Because like in the thing... He sleeps with this woman because he hears about what happened with Bran and Rickon. And then he marries that chick because he feels like it's my honor as a Stark to marry this woman, not just make her like a prostitute. And like throughout the whole thing, it's like he is doing all these things, but like all his ideas, like to go make peace with Stannis and Renly, that was Kat's idea. To like not, because in the beginning, he wanted to trade Sansa and Arya for Jaime. And Cat and Will was like, no, they'll never do that. That's a bad idea. So the entire time, like, she was telling him, don't do this stupid shit. And in the show, it's also that he comes up with, and Cat's just the one like, I want to go home. I want to be home with my babies. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's just... That's horrible, the way they changed the tones of those characters. And see, the thing was, like, when the War Force first started, that's what I thought their relationship was going to be. That Catelyn was going to stick around and be an advisor. You know, mm-hmm. Robb would be the one, fighting on the fields and shit, and Catelyn would be the one giving him all that fucking advice. It would also be really good to note that would have created such a great dichotomy between Catelyn and Robb's relationship and Cersei and Joffrey's.
Yup. Mm-hmm.
But the need that's when you get to the point where you're just changing unnecessary shit. Also, correct me if I'm wrong though, but it wasn't just that Robb married. Is it still Talisa in the book though? Is that the same?
Nope. Totally different character.
Totally different character. So where does Talisa come in?
There is no Talisa.
Oh, that's just an imaginary character.
They made her up because she's cool and she like does nursey shit. I don't know.
Okay, well, just for the sake of argument in regards to the show, though, even if they decided to make that character that fit that same role, correct me if I'm wrong though, but in the books, does Rob didn't want to marry her just because it was the sake that he slept with her. He knocked her up, wasn't it?
No, he just married her because he slept with her.
Oh, that's stupid.
Well, he's a Stark. He's about honor. He didn't want to like dishonor this woman because she wasn't like just some lady. She's like a noble-ish woman.
That's stupid.
That's Stark.
Very stupid.
See, because the cat I was talking to, he misled me because he told me that in the books, fucking Rob actually knocked her up, and that was the reason why. Then all the honor bullshit came into play later, because that's why he did what he did, and I thought that was really good. Why? Because it echoes the voice of Ned. You see what I'm saying? Rob's trying to live up to his father's standards, so of course that's what he would do, and I think it says so much more about him as a character. But now that I know that he didn't actually knock her up, now I'm kind of like that. It ain't that damn important. And look, I don't want anybody listening to the podcast be like, "Oh, Larry, you just as any other." I'm sorry, no. Knocking somebody up and just getting in their sugar walls are two completely different things. The same action, but two completely different significance.
Yeah. Because she was a virgin, he was like, I took her maidenhead. This would be the honorable thing to do. I'm going to marry her. Hey, Mom, look what I got. New wife.
Yeah. Sorry. Don't co-sign that shit, because trust me, Ned has plowed many sugar walls in his day. So, but
Rob's mistake though of marrying her is gonna. It may not have. It's gonna happen, but it's gonna bite him in the ass.
Oh yeah, Lord Frey's gonna collect on that ass. We know that. Just don't know how. Don't know how it's gonna happen. I don't know, because the way they introduced Lord Frey, he didn't seem to have that much pull. So I'm like, what could he do that's really going to be that threatening? Like he didn't seem to like pose that much of a threat to Rob. So I'm just trying to figure out what is it that he's gonna do.
The way to keep seeing, I don't know. I have no idea.
But I mean, like I said, I'm just expecting all this shit to happen. The Starks are a losing team, and like I said, I'm not bench jumping or anything. No, I'm staying on Team Stark. But let's face it, that's a losing team.
Yeah,
that's a losing team. Which brings me to Arya. What do you guys think is going to happen with Arya in season 3?
Oh wait, she was with that convoy, and then I'm trying to remember what happened after that.
She was with the Night's Watch. Then all of them got taken to Harrenhal with the where they were under guard. You know, they were being held captive by the Lannister forces.
Right.
And then after she made her pact with Jaqen, then she was actually able to leave with her and her little friends.
Yes.
And she was talking about meeting back up with Rob.
Well, I mean, if she goes with, this is similar to, I don't want to say it's similar to the young Starks situation, but if she goes with Rob, she's going to get involved in the war, and it's like, Well,
I don't see how. It's not like they can put her on the front line. She's a little girl.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I guess.
And for the record, for anybody listening, I didn't say that she couldn't fight because she's a little girl. Emphasis on the little, not too much on the girl. I mean, it's not like she's a grown woman. You see what I'm saying? She's still a kid.
Well, she does have she did take the she does know swordsmanship. It's not like she can't fight.
But Rob,
She does know
Rob, what? Bankai, what brother, what older brother do you know is going to put his little sister on the battlefield?
That's true.
Not to mention, John was the one of her brothers that respected the fact that she wanted to learn swordsmanship. None of them other never really acknowledged it, but John.
Yeah,
so to that, as far as Rob is concerned, Arya doesn't know how to fight.
But even still, though, it doesn't matter. That's your kid's sister. You're not going to put her in harm's way.
No, I totally agree with you.
Shit. That's just
I'm saying because
he's not Viserys, dude. Rob is not Viserys.
No.
Thank.
Jesus.
I'm not really going to speak on Arya because I got spoiled of what her storyline's going to be.
Oh.
But I'm wondering, all her friends with her, right?
Yeah. Well, Gidry and the fat boy and the little blonde head boy. I think the little blonde head boy is still with him.
I mean, I don't know. They could do something different, but I hope they stay together.
Yeah.
Arya by herself lonesome would be sad. Arya needs company. But I think her goal was to go to the wall. That's why she was going with that Night's Watch.
No. She was never heading north.
No?
Nah.
He was going to take her to Rob or to Winterfell on the way to the wall?
Who?
Her uncle.
Arya doesn't...
Wasn't that her uncle that took her from King?
No. That's that's one of the guys of the Night's Watch. That wasn't Benjen.
Oh, okay.
Nah, because remember in season 1, Benjen took Jon to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know what happened to Benjen. I think Benjen's dead. I'm just saying, they're killing off all the fucking Starks. You might as well start with him. Benjen was dead before Ned was. In my opinion, I think. I could be wrong about that. But all right, let's see. Anybody who else before we get to Dany, which is who I want to wrap this thing up with.
Dany.
Why the Oh well, yeah, because the changes they made to her.
Yeah, that was a hot mess.
Yeah. All right, fuck it. Let's go ahead and talk about Dany. Melina, if you will, tell us how you really feel.
90% of Dany's storyline was made for the show in season 2.
I didn't hear you. Sorry.
I heard that like 90% of Dany's storyline in season 2 was made for the show. It wasn't even in the book.
Yeah, they stretched it out.
Pretty much, almost like the entire House of the Undying scene is not even what happens in the book series. Her dragons never get fucking kidnapped. Like, Zohan Zora's doctor isn't a black dude. Like,
hey, I didn't mind him being a brother until he turned out to be a fraud, and then I was like, oh yeah, of course you're gonna. But
you know what's fucked up is like the fact that he's probably dead, and it's like he's still alive. Like you make this guy a brother and you kill him? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then they killed the handmaidens, like basically 99% of the non-white cast, and they're all still alive in the series, in the books. I'm just like, really, okay.
Yep.
I see how it is.
And the only other black character that we saw in season 2 turns out to be a pirate, a lecherous pirate at that.
Who wants to go get himself a white woman?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because he had to go be running after the white woman, right?
Which is crazy because there's a black prince in the book series, in the goddamn books, who's there that's completely cut out. And like 2 black female characters that are like just completely erased because they had to have more Ross. But whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not bitter.
You guys Walking Dead's treatment. They're giving the black characters the Walking Dead treatment.
Yeah.
You can't be brown in science fiction or fantasy. What's wrong with you?
Nope.
How are we supposed to survive without our hair product?
And people wonder why I be so goddamn angry all the damn time.
but it's our fault because we just think too much. But anyway,
you're thinking too much, overanalyzing it. Oh no, that's not what's really happening. It's in your head. You're making that up. You're sensitive. Man, go fuck yourself.
I mean, I'm hopeful for this season. I don't know what changes they're going to make or what they're going to do, but this is Dani's time to shine. And she needs to hurry up and do it now because they showed in the trailers that her dragons are getting bigger, they're getting better. Let's see how she can handle like this. Because it's like, she's like, I want to be on Iron Throne. Well, it's like, what qualifies you to be in the Iron Throne? You never ran a government. You were like a consort of a Khalasar, which, wasn't very successful because, it fell apart right after you married him, which isn't really the best track record. And just like there's no one in her corner supporting her. Just like I wanted them to see, like, show us why we need to root for Dany to be on the Iron Throne. Show us why Daenerys Targaryen will take what she wants with fire and blood, not just have her say it 55,000 times.
She's got dragons?
Well, yeah, but, they're baby dragons. Well, the direwolves are bigger than the dragons. It's like...
Yeah. Fucking Grey went and goes to eat those motherfuckers.
And just because she has them doesn't mean she can control them as well.
That's true.
We don't know how much... Because that's why I'm like, let's show us how she can handle these dragons in the show. Because I don't even want to count the books anymore because they fucked that up last season. So... I want to root for Dany. I want to root for her because, she's one of the female characters who they actually let do stuff. But if they're just going to have her running around screaming and having a catchphrase all the time, that's not very...
Dragons!
Yeah. That was one of the biggest things that kind of turned me off in season 2 was, like, the fact that, like, okay, first off, I stand by what I said. I could tell that Dany's storyline had a shit ton of filler. Because, dude, look, okay. I want to take this moment in time to explain something to anybody who might be listening to this podcast, and I think Melina will back me up on this. A writer can always tell when they're being fed filler. Mm-hmm. Because no writer creates filler for the sole purpose of it being filler. Even if you read a book and you're reading a bunch of something that might be... Like, take The Lord of the Rings, for an example. Tolkien is a very long-winded writer. He'll spend a page and a half describing a fucking treat to you. But it's for a purpose. Yes. Everything the writer puts on that page is for a purpose. And you want to know why? Because the majority of motherfucking writers, what you buy in the store ain't even the whole fucking story. How many writers actually trim down their story or take shit out or cut shit out? Mm-hmm. How many times do they have to go back and revise the shit time and time again before the final draft is actually finished? When all that shit has to be done, you don't have no room for filler. You don't have any need for it. There's no purpose for it. It doesn't benefit you because all it's going to do is fucking hinder your story.
Yep.
So every writer knows filler when they see it instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And watching fucking Dany's story in season 2 screamed filler to me. Because it had no point, no purpose to her character arc, no purpose to her plot, no purpose to the central plot. It served no fucking purpose. Mm-hmm. And come on, the whole somebody took my dragons. How many motherfucking stories have we seen where a character had to find something that was stolen from them?
Mm-hmm. Oh, forget about it. It's like...
Right, it was very cliche. The one thing that I think came out of... The one thing, though, I will say is that they try to push was Dany not being so easy to trust others. And it's and that's the one thing I think they developed with her in season 2. But at the time, they did it kind of wrong because now she don't even trust Jonah.
Rick.
Granted, she shouldn't to a certain extent, but she's very on the defensive now. She's very closed.
Rick.
She was burned in Quar.
Rick.
What?
You said that the point of that story was to get Daenerys to learn not to trust others.
No, I said that's the one thing that happened with Dany in that story, as far as her character.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. You're telling me that she wouldn't learn that lesson after saving and defending a woman who turned her husband into a vegetable and killed her unborn child? She wouldn't have learned that lesson then?
I'm not saying it was well done. I just think they took that aspect, and that's what they decided to do. Because the problem with HBO was put in a corner with season 2, book 2. is that Dany and from my understanding, Dany and Jon Snow don't have that much going on in book 2, and so those are probably the two most popular characters that from the show. I mean, Dany is my favorite character in the show right now, from season 1, not season 2, but from what I've seen in season 1. And they just decided they had to do something with them because they can't have them not there, or they feel they're gonna lose the viewership. So they took that aspect of what happened to her at the end of season 1, and they made her character arc in season 2. I'm not saying it was done well, but I see what they were doing and what they decided to do with it. Again, not saying it was done well.
Well, I think the problem with that is, like, that's already in there. Because part of what's supposed to happen is her going into Karth, trying to get allies, and realizing they just want her they just want to get her for her dragons. And she just had to deal with issues of trust and whatever already in there, but it was, like, contained to what it needed to be. And I agree, it's because Emilia Clarke is, she's a beautiful woman, and she attracts a lot of viewership, and she was one of the most popular characters. But they need to realize that in stretching out these storylines and limiting characters who do have a role to play and not letting them play their role, you're just hurting the characters that you seem to love so much. Because how many people couldn't stand her by the end of the second season?
Yeah, exactly. Because the reason why I like Dany so much in season 1, why I initially liked her, was because Dany, and I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go ahead and verify this for any listeners to try to make people really understand why it is I don't like Sansa, because Dany was in the same fucking position as Sansa was, maybe even a worse position. She was in a worse position. Both of those characters were victim of circumstances. But which character was proactive about her situation?
Dany was. She was like, all right, I'm getting practically raped every night. So instead of just keep getting raped every night, I'm gonna take charge, and I'm gonna try to enjoy this somewhat. She learned to love Drogo, despite the fact she was put in a bad situation. She kind of forced herself to love Drogo and take her role as Khaleesi.
Yeah, and that went from her fulfilling her role as a Khaleesi, standing up to her fucking brother finally. You see what I'm saying? Drogo was finally convinced to, go ahead and lead a campaign. You see what I'm saying? And then, she's sitting up there saving people from villages they're raiding and shit. Drogo was still like, hey, even after Homeboy was like, man, I don't like the fact that this chick telling me I can't have whatever I want. Drogo was like, man, fuck that shit, bro. It's like, what my wife told you? She told you no? All right, fine. It's no, nigga. You see what I'm saying? Even after Drogo got sick, she was still like, no, we're going to go ahead and we're going to save him. She was trying to keep the whole Khalazar together. All that shit. You see what I'm saying? One character actually made the most of her situation, was proactive about it. The other character just sat there and took the abuse. So in the future, when people keep saying about, oh, Larry, your expectation for Sansa, or this, that, and the other, she's just a little girl, you can't expect this from her. Fuck me.
Well, there's
Dany isn't Dany like just out of her teens?
Well, the thing about they're both around the same age. Dany is older, but their situation while they're both in hard environments is totally different. Like, Dany never had an easy life. She was growing up with her molesting brother, who's like trying to like touch her boobs and doing all this weird shit to her. Sansa grew up in the lap of luxury in the North, where everyone was handed to her. Like, she didn't have to like struggle or fight for anything the way that Dany would have to.
Yeah. That's true.
That's all the more for me to be detached from Sansa.
Well, I understand that detachment because, we didn't grow up with that. But I'm just saying, like, in trying to compare the two, like, it doesn't fit what both of them are about. Dany has the ability to, because she had everyone that was working for her in the Khalasar was on her side because she was the Khaleesi and those were her people. People like King's Landing don't give a fuck about Sansa. There's no one like, Sansa, let me, like, be your best friend and, like, take care of you, teach you how to, like, have good sex with your husband. Like, no one's doing that to her.
And whose fault is that?
Herself?
Whose fault is it?
Whose fault is it?
Sansa's.
That's hers.
That no one's on her side.
No, bullshit, man. When she had that motherfucking handmaid and the shit in season 1.
That didn't happen in the Well, that was made up for the show.
Well, all I'm going off of is the show.
Well, and it's like that's why also the show annoys me. But like a lot of stuff like this just wasn't originally there. She was never like rude and like bitchy.
Well, see, maybe then I'd have been a little bit more sympathetic for her. But the fact is, the show gave me an unlikable character from Jump Street. So why, when bad shit happened to her, I'm supposed to sympathize? Especially if it feels like she's not doing as much as from the bottom of my list. Marjorie, Catelyn, Arya, Cersei, and then Dany. All five of those fucking female characters. Hell, I'll throw in your girl, the fucking wildling that was messing with Jon. Look at her.
Mm-hmm.
She was a fucking captive. And she tricked the shit out of Jon, caught him slipping.
Yeah, but I like her personally. I like her.
Oh, I love her, dude. That accent.
She's great. She's really badass.
Dude, that freaking accent and that red hair. Oh, Jesus.
Kissed by fire. I like Brett.
You look at all the other female characters in the Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Sansa is the only weakling female. All the other females are strong, empowered women. And Sansa is just the way Sansa's being portrayed.
No, I won't say they're strong, empowered, but they are more proactive. They are doing stuff. They're keeping busy. They're always doing something.
All I can say is that like I disagree, and I disagree for reasons that like I'll admit they're not shown, so it's hard for me to be like point to this and say like this is the reason why. But I would say like what Sansa does is try to survive the situation, and like that's not a fun story to watch. It's not fun to watch a character just get beaten and deal with it and try to like survive. I think that's not entertaining television. So I see why it's just not as interesting as seeing like Dany, do her thing and other stuff like that.
But hang on a minute. But now I gotta beg the question. If it's not entertaining television, why is it in the show?
Well, because she's a POV character, and I don't know why they minimize what she does so much. I just think because like they don't think it's important that people care about like what her thing is, because it's not like she's not a fighter. She's not gonna suddenly pick up a sword and start slaying people, and I just don't think that they think that that's interesting.
Marjorie's not a fighter. Neither is Cersei.
But
or Catelyn.
But they're not like Sansa's character. Marjorie, first of all, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with that character so far as well. But they're playing her as being more like sneaky and devious and all this kind of other stuff, which Sansa is not. She's not like Cersei or Marjorie. I mean, part of her thing is her learning to be more, not as naive and stuff like that. But again, that's not even shown as well in the series.
I think they should have just killed her off, to be honest with
you. You know how I feel about that, but that's fine.
Well, no, man. See, hang on a minute, bruh. Because I've already said this. I am not against. Listen. I am not against children being martyrs. Period.
Oh, I don't. It's not about her being a child. Like I don't care about her being a child. It's just me. I like her character, so that's why I don't want her to die.
And I mean, like I was already. Like, what the fuck when they killed Ned? But, dude, can you imagine, like, if they ended season 1 killing Ned and Sansa? You see what I'm saying? So it's like, whoa, it's like, okay, you killed Ned, but now y'all killing little girls too? Holy shit. And then you end season 1 like that, and then you open up season 2 with Joffrey commanding them to go kill all them little kids and babies and stuff? It's like, whoa, this is crazy. I think it would have just made your villains look more villainous.
Yeah.
He's enough of a dickhole for me.
Yeah, he is.
But so off the Sansa thing, going back to Dany though, like I am in agreement. Like I don't like what they did with Dany. How they gave her this fucked up sense of entitlement. I don't really care to see that because in all honesty, she shouldn't have it. Dany should not. Listen, hear me out. Dany should not have a sense of entitlement. You want to know why? Because number one, and look, this isn't a sexist comment, but let's be real. Number one, you're a woman. You would not have been expected to sit on the Iron Throne had you lived the life you would have led to begin with. That's number one. She would not have ruled. You're a woman and you're second born. So you wouldn't have ruled to begin with. Number 2, she was too young to remember what it was like to be a princess. See, Viserys being entitled, that makes sense. Why? Because he remembers. He remembers his dad. He remembered. Oh, actually, correction. She's not second born. She's third born. Behind Viserys and, what's their big brother?
The guy, he says with an R.
Rhaegar?
Rhaegar, yeah, Rhaegar.
Yes, Rhaegar. That was fucking the Mad King's heir. So Viserys was second born. So even Viserys wouldn't have fucking ruled.
And technically, Rhaegar had his own kids. So if they hadn't have died or whatever.
Yup. Then Daenerys and Viserys would have never ruled. Ever. None of them. But even with Viserys though, like I said, he still remembers what it was like to be a prince. He was torn away from that life, so it would make sense that he would be entitled. Daenerys? No. Makes no sense why she would have that sense of entitlement. Especially if she would have grown up with Viserys, always talking about how he was going to rule.
Honestly, I see it. Maybe it's just me coming in and being a girl. But honestly, if I was hearing about how my family was hot shit the whole life, I would think to myself, you know what? Why the fuck not me? I mean, I got dragons and shit. Why the fuck shouldn't I rule? Well, the last person who conquered Westeros had dragons. Why don't I just start something new with my own self? I mean, there's never been a woman leading the Khalasar, and she's doing it.
Yeah, but they're not portraying Dany like that. We never hear that from that character. Because then that would give Dany some credit, because that would make her more ambitious than how she seems. Because let's face it, at this point in time, she still appears to be relatively humble. You know, she's not as they haven't portrayed her as ambitious as, like, say, Marjorie. Like, fucking Marjorie, man, just that one line she told Littlefinger, it was like, I don't want to be a queen, I want to be the queen. That's all the fuck we needed to know about her. That one sentence was like, okay, we know what she's about. You see what I'm saying? They're not even portraying Dany like that.
And I think that comes from the way the ball was dropped with Dany in season 2, because this sense of entitlement, which I think, this is going off my assumptions, I think comes from the fact that she is the dragon. She's the one, the mother of dragons. I think that's just, I mean, it's not said in the series, but that's what I'm kind of getting at. The fact that they didn't develop that better in season 2 going forward is, I think, why it's like kind of like, I mean, and it really does baffle me, because to me, Dany's character was probably the best developed character in season 1, from where she started in episode 1 to where she was at in episode 10. Mm-hmm. And the fact the way she was treated in season 2 it pissed me off. I mean, I was really disappointed. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm really excited about season 3, because everyone tells me this is going to be Dany's season. Yeah. And so I'm really, really looking forward to it. And I hope they do it right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm rooting for Dany, and that they do her story right. Because I think there's a lot of potential there. Like, I feel like, because I know that Martin said that he, like, kind of thinks of this series as, like, his own telling of War of the Roses. And that makes me think of, like, you know, Elizabeth the First, you know. There was never, like, a female queen. So, like, I'm thinking, like, maybe they're trying to do that with her character. Like, maybe have her be, like, the beginning of her own kind of authority. But we will see.
Yeah, because she has to cross the narrow sea first.
Yeah.
Then she has to deal with all them motherfuckers. I will say this, though, man. I don't know how... I'm still trying to figure out when Dany's going to get to Westeros. But for fuck's sake, man, she'll probably just clean up the float by the time that happens. I mean, everybody... All the nobles are fighting each other. Wildlings and White Walkers are coming from the north, gonna wipe them out. You see what I'm saying? Oh, she just gonna come in and fucking wreck shop. She probably won't even have to fight that damn hard.
Mm-hmm. And technically, Dany can decimate the White Walker if her dragons get a little bit bigger. Because isn't the way you kill a White Walker, you set it on fire?
Yep.
Fire. So
Dany could just decimate the White Walker army in one swoop.
Yep.
And then who's not gonna want to root for her to be queen? You just saved all our asses. All hail Daenerys Stormborn.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, okay, answer something for me, because this has always fucking confused the shit out of me. Is that her last name?
No, her last name is Targaryen. She's called Stormborn because she was born on a stormy night.
That really did come out of nowhere, too.
Confusing.
They never explained that. Someone was like, "Why the fuck did I thought it was her name for the longest time, but no, it's just a nickname because of how she was born."
Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah.
Confusing. Okay, so we've been at this for what, 2 hours, almost. Is there anything else we need to talk about, discuss? Anybody I'm forgetting?
I don't think so.
I think that's
anything else.
Okay, so final thoughts. Bankai.
What I'm looking forward to, and I did see one trailer of season 3, and I might have seen something, but I'm not going to say anything. But it does have to do with Dany and her dragons. I'm actually looking forward to that. And I'm going to say this. I really would like to see these White Walkers getting involved possibly this season. I would like to see that. Like starting up some shit in the north onward. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see that.
All right. For me, I'm looking forward again to Dany, seeing what Dany's going to do and her preparations to take the Iron Throne, if that's obviously her end game, which it is. And I'm interested to see what they're going to do with Tyrion. I think Tyrion's going to be on the defensive most of the season, and I'm looking to see what the hell he's going to do and what role he's going to play, and how he's going to keep his head on his shoulders with Cersei and Joffrey looking around.
Yeah, that's actually how he's going to keep his head on his shoulders. Nicely put. Melina?
Well, for one, I'm looking forward to seeing all your reactions as stuff unfolds. That's always entertaining on my end. But secondly, I'm just looking forward to like having a really well acted show. I mean, I know there's going to be differences. I accept that. I just want it to be good, and I want it to be true to the characters. And I don't want it to do more of this filler nonsense bullshit because I don't think my brain can tolerate that. And I just want to see them. And also, I don't want because like there are some characters like Tyrion who are a lot more gray morally as characters, and I want to see them bring that out more, especially now that he is on the defensive, to like show them that like, yeah, he's a good guy, but he's not perfect. He's still a Lannister, and he still pays his debts however he can.
And my final thoughts will be, I want one. If this series, honestly, because it seems like rewatching the first 2 seasons, like I've already noticed how much I've kind of fallen out of the series, you know, because I barely even watch the shit on rerun, like I will not watch it during the off season. Like I've seen season 1 like 3 or 4 times because I really like season 1. Season 2, I've only rewatched it once, and so my thing is, it's like. All of my favorite characters have either been killed or I'm expecting them to get killed just because I know at some point everyone gets killed, I'm assuming. So don't get attached to nobody.
Love no one.
Love no one, because it's going to happen. But my thing is, if this, like, honestly, if this series really wants to keep my attention, and people are going to hate me for saying this, because since in my reviews I talk about story and all, you know, character development and all this shit so much, but you know what I want in season 3, honestly? Is one word.
Blood.
Huh?
Boobies?
No, not boobies. I can stand without boobies. That's why I have porn. I don't need boobies in my Game of Thrones. I want fights.
Yeah.
I agree.
Your third book is called A Storm of Swords. I want fights. I want to see. Don't give me no motherfucking 1 episode out of the season where we get to see fights. All right?
No, that's bullshit.
I know, because that pissed me off so much with season 2. So much. I was rewatching the episode the other day when Rob met Talisa, and we had that little setup how Rob ambushed that Lannister party, and then it fades to black, and then it fades out, and it's like, oh, fight's over. I'm like, fuck you. I want fights. I want to see them. I want to see them happening, even if it's brief, even if I only get 5 minutes. I want to see a fight.
Yeah.
I want to see battles. You can't have a book called Storm of Swords and not have the majority of the season being fucking fights.
Exactly.
And if I don't see my fights, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah.
And you will hear me rant about it in every episode review. I'll be like, we didn't get a fight this week. It was bullshit. I don't care about this, and this because we didn't get a fight. Seriously. I want fights. I want to see fights. I want to see people getting killed. I want to see fucking swords and axes and arrows and crossbows and cannons. Because I think we should have cannons. But do they have cannons? I don't know if they have cannons.
I think they should have cannons to some extent.
I don't even know if they have fucking gunpowder at this point.
No.
But I want to see fights. Period.
Melina, question for Melina. Being that they're splitting, since you read the books, how do you feel about this book being split into 2 seasons?
It makes me excited because I feel like they can be more true to it. And plus, I have a pretty good idea of where they're going to stop. And I think that's a really good place to stop.
But is there enough content to make 2 compelling seasons?
You see, that's the hard thing. Because thinking back, there's a lot of stuff going on. But it's like, I don't know if they're going to keep it in because it's not very fighty.
I want fights!
And it deals with characters that I honestly don't think they care about. But I do think there'll be enough to make it it'll have to make it work. But I am more nervous about the second half because I don't know if there'll be enough for the second half as there is for the first. They might start to meld in stuff from the 4th book by that point. So we'll have to just see.
Yeah, because the thing I've heard readers say like the 4th book is like the least favorable of the series.
Oh, you see, I love it. You would hate it. It's like, it's all about like the political. Not like you would hate, but it doesn't have the stuff that I think that a lot of people want from a fantasy series, and it doesn't have the same characters that people like. Like, you know, your usual POV characters are usually Catelyn, Tyrion, Sansa, Arya, Jon. Then later on it's Jaime, but in the 4th book it's completely different people. So people were just kind of like, "What the fuck is this?" I don't care about these other people.
Like a whole new cast?
Not a whole new cast. It's people who weren't POV characters before. So we're not having that because there was no Tyrion, there was no Dany POV. So, and obviously they can't have a season without those characters. So they're gonna have to incorporate some stuff differently.
So what was it? Was it following like what Jorah and Varys?
Brienne character this from people from like House Martell, which hasn't even appeared yet and probably won't till series 4.
Fuck.
And that's the Brown House, so I'm looking forward to them. Like other small folk characters, just a lot of people that were not POV. There's a few remaining. Like you still have, I think, Arya. You still have you get Cersei's POV, which no one really wanted. Jaime's still there, but it's just a lot of other people peppered into it.
Yeah, I think it would. I think it would make the most sense to just meld the second since they broke season 3 up into 2. It would just make sense to like have the second half of season 3 meld with what would have been normally season 4 if it was a book per season.
Yeah, because like the 4th and 5th book are weird because there technically should be one book, but they had the exact same timeline just with different characters. So it's like fucking confusing, and there's no way you can film that way. So they're gonna have to start melding stuff together.
So wait a minute, are you telling me like in the 4th book you are seeing stuff that happened previously through another character?
No, what's happening is in book 4 you get certain characters and they're going through their stuff in their own timeline. Now, when you get to the 5th book, you get other people, like, because Tyrion's point of view isn't in book 4, but it is in book 5. and they can be viewed as happening at the same time, just in different places.
I see what you're saying. So they all run within the same continuity. Like, I mean, they're all running simultaneously instead of it being in sequential order, like from Game of Thrones to Clash of Kings to Storm of Swords.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well then they better start melding and getting all creative with it.
Yeah, they're gonna have to. There's no way they can make it work if they don't do it like that.
Honestly, I see them possibly starting to split the next couple books into 2 seasons, simply because it takes George so long to write his books, and they'll catch up.
Yes, it does.
Well, he's getting ready to release. I thought he was releasing the 6th book in 2014.
Yeah, we'll see.
See, Melina's been here for a while, so she knows what's up. Because,
like, it was, you can ask Kalia too, there was this huge gap between the 4th book and the 5th book. Like, I don't know, like, damn near almost over 5 years for that shit.
What?
Damn.
Boo fucking who.
Wait, hold on. I can check out officially. Hold on, it'll just take a second because I'm already on my computer. So, like, what the fuck was the first one?
5 years, big whoop.
Hold on, let's see.
For Mr. Williams.
He's like, whatever, I've waited longer for shit.
For real, shit. I remember when fucking Captain America: First Avenger came out, and like I was so amped up for that shit, and my friend was like, "Larry, dude, like, what is your fucking problem?" I was like, "Dude, you don't understand. I've been waiting for this fucking movie since X-Men 1 came out."
I love Captain America. Like, I love all superheroes people. Like, I love Captain America. I love Superman. I don't care if people say they're boring. Fuck them. I don't care. So A Feast for Crows, that came out in 2005, right?
Mm-hmm. And fucking Dance of Dragons came out last year. No, 2011.
Yeah, 2011. So, like, 5 years. 5-6 years between those books. So, plus, he's doing so much more shit now that, you know, it took him 5 years between A Storm of Swords and Feast for Crows. So it's probably going to be 5 years between both.
Damn, I thought I waited that long for Aragon books to come out.
Oh, you waited for that?
I like Aragon. Shut up. The movie sucks, but the books are alright.
Yeah, I heard the books were good, but the movie, that movie was ass.
I read that book. It was just like, I feel like I've read this book before in like 3 different things.
Oh, yeah.
Granny, it's not that original. It's a nice little fantasy.
It's entertaining. I get that. Like, there are plenty of series I'm like, this is like not the best, but I'm gonna watch it anyway. Read it anyway. But yeah, they were gonna be waiting a while for this next book to come out, so we'll see what happens.
Shit, for all we know, that motherfucker already has the last 2 books written. They just gonna fucking stagger the release.
Oh, he don't got shit. He's admitted it too. He don't got shit.
You ain't got shit. Wait, he ain't even started working on the 6th book?
He's worked on it, but he's got like a few chapters done.
He's got the titles laid out. I know that.
Yeah, because now he's working on the show. He's working on side things. He's like doing so much shit now because now he's famous and now he got, you know.
Uh-oh.
Man, y'all better leave that man alone so he can do his fucking job.
Right. I mean, the series started in 1996.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Europe.
And it took him this long to get famous.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so he gonna take it while he got it. So he's gonna milk that shit for as long as he can.
Good for him.
Right? I do it when it's my turn.
Well, that is so that's pretty much going to wrap up this week's OAW podcast. I want to thank my fellow YouTubers Bankai922 for coming to the show.
You're welcome.
Animerick, as always, is a pleasure.
Pleasure and honor, sir.
And finally, MelinaPendulum. Great to finally be able to collaborate with you.
It was a pleasure.
And so, you see, this is the point in the outro where I'd be like, in the comments below, leave your expectations and predictions and stuff. But seeing as how this is a Game of Thrones related video, comments are going to be off on this one.
Bullet.
Yeah. So, let's see what to keep an eye out for. Oh yeah, I'm on Game of Thrones season 3 episode 1 review is going to be up tomorrow because this is going up Saturday night. And then my Viking season 1 episode, what is this? What are we on? Episode 5? Yeah, episode 5 review will be up on Monday night. And with that being said, this has been Larry Williams. Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, signing off. And until next time, peace.